How's it, guys? It's Davey FPL and welcome back to the Deadline with Davey live stream. I do apologize for being 30 seconds late. I was just getting this old good thing, the chocolate milk is back, and this week at least it's not off. But to be honest, I would probably take it being past expiration date, considering the fact that the green arrow was pretty good last week. So let's just see what happens this week. Let's see if the chocolate milk is good luck, if it's bad luck. It is what it is. GW23 is going to be an absolute banger. Will we get early team news? I think it's probably the reason that you guys are here. I can't tell you. I don't know. Unfortunately, I'm not as big as some of the other YouTubers, so the sources don't come to me. I have to go to the sources. So let's see if anything does come about in the next 40 minutes or so, maybe 10 minutes before the deadline. That might be the cutoff to those transfers. So let me know how your guys' weekend's going. Let me know if the audio and the video sound and look good. And then we can always kind of fix things if they don't look great or sound great. So let me just post in chat here. I see we do have a few people already. We have, hey, all good luck for the week. Hope for them. Green arrows, says Schizoface. Cases, good morning, Davey. Do you have any changes to my wildcard team? Okay, so I think what I'm going to do, actually, there was someone on my members or legends Discord that was asking me to do a wildcard draft, so I thought I would actually just create one in this specific stream. So I will be going over sort of a wildcard draft for those of you guys that are on the chip. What I would probably advise, though, is that if you haven't activated it yet, maybe just think otherwise, because we're going to get a ton of information in the next few games about the double game weeks, and that might kind of sway your team selection. So I do get it if you own someone like a Bruno G, if you own a Tavernier. Your team might not look that great, but if you look at my team, I have no bench coverage. I'm just squeezing out a starting 11, and I think it might just be worth rolling this week with what you have. And then next week, once we know the Champions League kind of playoffs, that sort of thing, we can then move on to a chip strategy. So just wanted to put that out there. But if you guys are on the wildcard, not that it's a bad decision, and I'll help you guys out with those kind of team selections. Fansub says Siddharth, that is true. Hector saying let's have a good week, fellas, 100%. Jester is coming in straight with a question with a few options. Okay, so let me read over your options. Voltemade to Thiago, that does look pretty good. Volte plus Anderson to Mbeumo / Gay. Current players Bruno F, Saka. Okay, so you already have Bruno Fernandes. I would just do the Thiago move. I think that one probably looks the most safe. And I think that one looks sensible this week, probably. Just keep breathing, say, Davey. Hope you and the family are well. Thank you. Doing okay. Thanks a lot. Hopefully to you as well. Gaz is saying the GOAT of legends. I mean, so is it the GOAT or is it the legend? Both. Let's combine the two. Do appreciate the kind words, Gaz. And Rohitsa is saying, how's it, Davey? Hope you're well, mate. Wondering if you're going early on Saar and Munoz makes sense. Okay, wondering if the fixtures are there and no one is talking about them. Good luck. So I think Rohitsa is basically just because Crystal Palace look a bit in disarray. So Mateta might be leaving. Are they going to sign a new striker? What's going to happen there? I do agree with you that the fixture's looking pretty good. So if you want to go early, that's 100%. I just don't feel like there's a need for my team. Let's maybe say that a Virgil van Dijk had terrible fixtures for the next few weeks, and maybe a Munoz makes sense. But I still want to just see that he's back in the team, back to full fitness before I go there. And Saar, I'm a big fan of Saar, but with that attack, how's that going to kind of shift with all those exits from the club? So let's just see. But I do agree with you that it could be a risk that's worth it. I'm probably going to wait till the Crystal Palace fixtures get really good, which is in a few weeks' time. But good call out, let's just say that. We traded places. Okay, cool. So it looks like you are doing a little bit better. That's how FPL sometimes is. I think the majority of you guys are probably doing better than me in terms of rank, because this season has been an absolute stinker. So I just appreciate you guys being here and still listening to me. Need to work today, but squeezed in to say hi. Any chocolate milk? Vincent, you'll be happy to know that the chocolate milk is here and it has not expired yet. So that's a pretty good thing considering last week. And he just says like and subscribe. So sorry that you have to work. Enjoy your work. Hopefully it's a productive day and a productive game week, to be honest. Okay, also saying I've used my wild card. Do you have any advice? Okay, so Kay, if you're on the wild card, as you mentioned, then I'll be doing some updates. But let me just take a scope at the team. Overall looks fine. So I'll highlight what you have to kind of watch out for when I do the wildcard draft. And I'll do it shortly. Don't worry enough. I'm not going to bait you for that. So let me just kind of get through the chat at the moment, and then we can go into that wildcard draft. Who's the best goalkeeper for a wild card, says a Bay. It's an interesting one. I think it's probably not Raya because I prefer the outfielders. I think Raya's safe, but I think there's been other players that are worth it more. I'd probably go super cheap. I think I'd go for like a Verbruggen, a Roffs, the Sunderland goalkeeper, a Kelleher even. I think that he's actually a pretty decent option. I think 4.5, 4.6. So I think I would just go cheap. I have Raya. I'm going to stick with him. He's been okay, but I think the outfielders are probably a bit better value. Should I triple captain Haaland for the game against Wolves? So I don't think so. I think there's even uncertainty about captaining him. So if there's enough uncertainty about captaining him, probably won't triple captain him. And that's just because we don't exactly know if he's going to start. I do feel like he will, but there's enough doubt for me not to triple captain him. And nice for you is that there's doubles coming up, even fairly shortly around game week 26 potentially. So you can even just wildcard there. Thanks, Ritz, for the kind words. Likely moves this week, Davey Connor. It's probably to roll the transfer, but if we do get news that if Foden's out, then Foden to Bruno might make more sense. As you can see, I don't have any bench coverage, so I kind of need to make sure that all my players are starting, and the ones I worry about the most is probably Foden, to be honest. So if Foden's out, not saying that we will get early team sheet news, I doubt it. They're playing the second game after deadline, so it's even longer post-deadline. But if we do get news about that, then I probably will do Foden to Bruno. But otherwise, I think I'm going to roll. That's my current plan. So a nice, boring stream. Let's just say it's going to be boring because that means it's probably going to be absolutely insane. So let's see what happens. Okay, cool. Let's go on to a bit of a wildcard draft. Just give me a second here, because I just want to pull up. Firstly, I just want to go and check. I just want to go check Twitter quickly, just in case there's been any news, but it doesn't look like it. Okay, cool. So I just want to bring up a Ben Krellin tweet, and then we can kind of go over that on stream. Okay, let me bring up this Ben Krellin tweet, because this is basically what you guys have to act on if you are wildcarding this week. Okay, so as always, go follow Ben Krellin. I mean, just the GOAT of like FPL planning, if there ever was one. So let's just bring up this image first. Okay, you can't see the image that well, so let me just adjust it. I don't exactly know how I'm going to do this. Okay, I'm just going to... Okay, I can't even zoom out. Let me see if I can open it as a new image. Okay, cool. I think that gives you guys enough context. Maybe I can even just bring this a bit wider. Okay, cool. So basically what this is game week 31. So game week 31 clashes with the EFL Cup final. So this will only be for 2 teams. However, we already know the results from the first leg of the semi-finals of the EFL Cup. So you guys know Arsenal played Chelsea. Arsenal currently leading by 1 goal there. Then you have Man City, who also taking on Newcastle. And I think Man City are leading there as well. Sorry, I just blanked on that kind of result. But you can see from the chance of kind of progression that Man City and Arsenal are favoured. So therefore, in game week 31, Man City versus Crystal Palace. Now, this is saying that Man City and Arsenal do progress. Things can happen in football. Chelsea might come back, who knows. But let's just say that in terms of the odds, because of the lead, Man City and Arsenal do progress. Man City and Crystal Palace blank, as well as Wolves and Arsenal. So now what's happened is that those fixtures have to move to another game week. And what Ben Krellin has been saying in this tweet here is that what the Premier League might do is provisionally, they might actually bring the game forward. So instead of making it after game week 31, they're going to bring it forward to game week 26, because that is currently a free weekend for Arsenal. So you can see here that Arsenal versus Wolves is probably going to be moved to game week 26 if Arsenal do progress, which we don't know, but let's just safely assume that. So then also what he goes on to mention is that they also might probably provisionally schedule Everton versus Chelsea or Newcastle versus Sunderland to 26/27 if Chelsea or Newcastle finish top 8 in the UCL. So the reason that Arsenal can play Wolves in game week 26 as a double is that they've already guaranteed top 8. So what top 8 in the Champions League means is that you get a bye week, so you don't have to play a fixture, and that would be that midweek of 26. So if Chelsea or Newcastle, depends of both, if they both finish in the top 8, then they might also have a double game week in 26/27. So now I've been thinking of, do I actually want to sell Anthony Gordon if they do double in 26 or 27? So that's why this week I'm kind of keen on postponing my decision as long as possible and just kind of assessing, because there's Champions League next week. So we will know if Newcastle or Chelsea qualify in the top 8. So that's just something that to kind of confirm. Yeah, so as he's saying, provisional double game week, it's only confirmed. And also it's only confirmed when we get news about the second EFL Cup semi-final. So who kind of knows what's going to happen in those. But as mentioned, the odds are favoring Arsenal and Man City. So what I'm trying to say is that there's no guarantees of doubles. However, it does look likely for some teams. So on a wild card, and that's why I'm not wild carding as of now, because there's just too much uncertainty and you're kind of taking bets on when doubles are going to take place and nothing's been confirmed. And it's the same reason why my chip strategy hasn't been locked in. Anyone that tells you that their chip strategy is locked in is simply lying to you. No one has any chip strategy at the moment. Yes, you could wildcard now if your team doesn't look great, but if you already plan when to bench boost, not bench boost, I think that there's still uncertainty around that, in my opinion. So my chip strategy isn't locked in, and I don't think anyone's is, to be honest. But if you are wildcarding this week, I can try and help you guys out as far as possible. But just know that Wolves, Arsenal, Everton versus Chelsea, and Newcastle, Sunderland could take place. So it's very tough for me to kind of give you a team that's going to cover every situation when we don't know what's going to happen. So I know I went through that quite quickly, so I do apologize if maybe it's not super clear. But as always, you guys can always ask questions, ask me to clarify something. That was just a little bit of like a brain dump in terms of the Wildcard 23. So if I was to make a draft on the back of that, I think that I would try and get the best 3 Arsenal players. And this is where you have to think about captaincy. So I know Saka at the moment, you might not be super keen on captaining him because of rotation, but I do still feel like out of all their options, you probably captain Saka out of all of the outfielders. So I think I would probably look to bring Saka in, and that might be at the expense of Rice, because I do kind of feel like the best outfielders at the moment is probably Timber, Gabriel, and then Saka in the midfield department. So I'm just going to see how much money I have. I'm going to put Keller here at 4.6 because I think he's good value. Now in terms of the rest of your defense, this is where things can get a little bit interesting. I probably would still have someone like an Anderson, but instead of a Virgil, I think you're going to have to go a little bit cheap here. So let's just say you go for Rodon. And then I think that you can go for, let's just see if we can fit in Mukiele. I think that because you've got the Arsenal options, you'll have a rotation-proof 4.5, and that should be pretty good. I'd probably think you drop Ekitike and you go for Thiago. I think that'll be your 2 up front. And then I think you just try and stack your midfield as far as possible. So instead of Foden this week, I think you just skip the rotation. Even though it's a good fixture, you go for Bruno Fernandes. Gordon's tough as mentioned because obviously if they get a double, he's a great player. But if they don't, I don't exactly know who to kind of pick. So let's just kind of go for that as a structure. Sorry, I just want to pause and see if there's any questions. Okay, so I see we have had a super chat from Salem. I do appreciate you, brother. You said, I have Tavernier, O'Reilly, and Foden. I have 2 free transfers and 1.5 in the bank. I want to roll, but my bench is only Rodon, no depth in my squad. Should I change Tavernier or O'Reilly or just roll? I've got Enzo. So I don't think having Rodon is the worst thing in the world. They have Everton this week. And Rodon's back, as far as I know, correct. Just correct me if I'm wrong here. I have him in my team already. Yeah, Rodon's played 290 minutes. That's fine. That's good enough bench coverage for me. I think that it's okay. As you said, you said that you want to roll on the bench. So I think that's okay. Look, I understand that. So are you saying Tavernier is Tavernier in your starting 11 or is he on your bench? Because Tavernier's not going to play. So Salem, just correct me there, but just make sure. So is Tavernier already on your bench or are you putting him in your starting 11? Because then I understand what you're saying about having no depth. I think you take a punt on O'Reilly and Foden. I think the fixture's just too good to not. However, with Tavernier, if you're worried about him, then I think you can always just go for an Anderson as a bit of coverage because Tavernier is not coming back anytime soon. So yeah, let's maybe see if we get some early team sheet news. I doubt we will get it about O'Reilly, but I feel like the fixture is good enough to sort of just roll with it. Even if he comes off the bench, I mean, it's okay. And I don't think you have to worry about Enzo because I think Enzo's okay. Famous last words, I guess. How's it, Philippe? How's it, Ty the Footy Guy? Yeah, big rugby, but big cricket next. I mean, I'm hoping Pretoria wins. So let's see it. So if any of you watching the SA20. Oh, Tavernier's on your bench. So you have Rodon already as kind of bench coverage. That's okay for me. I think that's fine. Just make sure that I'm correct there, Salem. So what I'm saying is if Tavernier's on your bench alongside Rodon, then Rodon is enough bench coverage for me. It's more coverage than I have even, because I only have Gay. Thanks, Arthur. I don't think I answered your question, so you're just saying, appreciate you, bud. Do appreciate it. Okay, let's go back to the wildcard draft then. Okay, so now we, as mentioned, Gordon's a bit of a tough one because I don't know where I see him. If they get a double game week, he's obviously really good, but at the moment, I don't know if they will. I think I would go for Krippy Jr. as a bit of an upgrade, just because he's a playing option instead of Gay. Tavernier would be out. I think I would try and go for Mbuemo. I think that with those fixtures, he might be worth kind of the punt. Let's just say that. And then the only thing is Mbuemo is Arsenal, so you might want to sort of like bench him this week, which I think is possible. I think you can just bench him this week. And then as a cheap other midfielder, we have enough to spend in terms of 6.1. Let's see who we can buy for that amount. I don't think they're going to be super great, but maybe like a Wilson. How are the fixtures for Fulham? Okay, fixtures aren't that bad actually. So yeah, maybe a Wilson. I'm just trying to look and see if there's anyone else. I mean, you can go super cheap like a Lafie, has some good fixtures. So you guys kind of get what I'm saying. The wildcard this week is a bit like, I don't know, because there's no certainty on like doubles and things like that. It's kind of like this team looks like a lot of other people's teams. So that's kind of my say on it. I mean, you can go differential, bring in someone like a Semenyo. I just don't know if I'd go for another City option and bring in more rotation. I think if I was to wildcard now, I would want to go for certain options. And I think that's basically what I would look at. So this gives you 0.1 left in the bank, but it's not like super inspiring. Let's just say that. I think actually maybe what I would try and do is you can try and fit in like another Chelsea option because they have some good fixtures coming up. Maybe let's do this. Maybe let's say this. Okay, so instead of going for Wilson, we'll go for Lafie. And then does that give us enough funds to upgrade someone like a Chalobah? Yeah, just enough. Okay, so I think this is probably what I would do if I was on a wild card. I just want to screenshot this because someone was asking me on my Discord server for one. And then I'm just going to send it in Discord. So you guys can roast this draft. When did you get Mukiele? Philippe, I didn't. This is a wildcard draft, brother. So this is on my team. I'm just making a wildcard draft because some people have requested it, and I thought it was a nice way to talk about some added talking points like double game week 26 and that sort of thing. Okay, I just want to find here. Let me just post this. Okay, cool. So I just posted that. Thanks for the wait. But as mentioned, I'm not on a wildcard. This was simply just for a wildcard draft. I haven't done any transfers. You guys don't have to worry. I just was simply doing that. SH saying, hello, have you just joined any transfer for this game week? At the moment, I'm looking to roll. I'm going to leave this up for a little bit. Just for you guys, if you guys want to take a screenshot or that sort of thing, but I will be cutting. I don't want to confuse people by my team. Start Cunha or Dorgu or Krupi. I'd start Cunha. I mean, Krupi, yeah, maybe Krupi actually against Liverpool. Actually, sorry, Harry, now that I think about it, I'd start Krupi against Liverpool. Because with the Tavernier injury, as far as I know, he's definitely going to start. So I would probably do that. Would you play Dubravka over Bruggen? I'd probably go for Bruggen. But that's a good question, Siddharth, because we will be going over the clean sheet odds in 4 minutes. So let's see what happens there. A Gordon replacement that's cheaper than him. Enzo, if you want to go there. Otherwise, you can go super cheap, like a Lafie, an Anderson, even a Harry Wilson is pretty good. But yeah, as mentioned though, if Gordon does get a double game week, although that's probably double 2 points. So, but I would say Enzo probably tie. I've got Foden and Cherky. How big a problem is that? Okay, so Dan, I can't say how big a problem is. It might be a massive problem or it might be nothing at all. Let's just say both of them start, but it's unlikely. What I will tell you is that I do think that one of them starts. Let's just put it that way. Do you believe Enzo's a good choice? I do. I think he's a good choice, especially with the fixtures coming up. Philippe, thank you for using your 3-month anniversary, though, for the question of when did you get Mukiele. I did not, so I apologize for confusing you, but I just appreciate the 3 years of support, Philippe. Always in the chat, never asking too many questions, so just loves to be here. I do appreciate that. And thank you. Just 3 years is insane. So legend member for 3 years. Thanks again, Philippe. Best luck, says Mustafa. What's the plan? The plan is to roll, potentially. Watching from Canada. What time is it in Canada? It must be quite early. Should I captain Haaland or Semenyo? So, Zhang, someone asked me this on my Discord server, and I do feel like Semenyo is more nailed to start, but I feel like Haaland is going to play probably. I mean, there's a chance that he plays, and if he does play, I feel like he's a better option than Semenyo is. So, it all depends on what your risk appetite is. I would say that I consider Semenyo to be differential. So I think people are trying to make it so that Semenyo is the obvious pick because of minutes, but I don't think it's like that. I think Haaland's still the obvious pick. But if you want to take the risk, want to play exciting, Semenyo does make sense. So unfortunately, it depends on your risk appetite, though. Chris is saying, how's it going, mate? Do I start Anderson, Anderson, or Wilson? We'll need 2 of the 3. Who am I benching? I would just go for Anderson and Wilson. I'd play the 2 outfielders. Thoughts on Ndiaye? I like Ndiaye. I think Everton might struggle, though, attacking-wise, but Ndiaye always does well, and he's such a great player. I would definitely be going for him. So, okay, so I think we've had enough of this wildcard draft. Maybe let me just duplicate it so that it doesn't go away if people need it. But let me just show you what I was planning to do. So next week, obviously if Newcastle do finish top 8, it makes things a bit interesting, but I was going to take Gordon out for Bruno Fernandes. And as you guys can see, I've got 0.0 in the bank. So that's why I can't afford a Tavernier up or same. I need to go same price or down. So I can't afford, unless I did take like a Foden out, for example. Like let's say instead of Bruno, I go for Foden. Then I do have enough money to spend, and then I could actually go for someone like an Ndiaye. So it just depends on that Bruno move, though, and that's what I'm kind of contemplating. So, I mean, there could be a world that if Foden doesn't start, we do this move, and then I bring Ndiaye in for Tavernier as well. That could actually be a play, but at the moment, I'm probably going to hold tight. But yeah, I like Ndiaye. As I mentioned, if I had enough funds, I probably would be going for him. On penalties, absolute baller. I mean, what's not to love? Bruno G to Ndiaye, thoughts? It's okay if Bruno G plays, though. I still feel like he's a great option. But yeah, it just depends on how you think Everton will do. I think he'll do well, though. It just seems like quite a luxury transfer Headley to me. So if your team is 100% and it looks good, you have a few free transfers, it makes sense. But otherwise, you can just keep what you have. Juan or Jean, I do apologize. What to do with Gordon? I'm going to keep in the next week, potentially go for Bruno. It all depends on Foden. I hope Foden starts and scores and then it just makes him an easy hold. But in reality, if he doesn't start, he's probably a sell. So then we might just be keeping Gordon. But if Gordon gets a double, as Ben Krellin's been saying, maybe we just keep him. I can also go for Hall and upgrade Gay or Gordon. Wilson, let me just check here. Let me just check what your previous question was. Okay, just Wilson, did you ask a previous question? Can also go for Hall and upgrade Gay or Gordon. Just correct me if I'm wrong there. Did you ask a previous question, Wilson? Sorry, I'm not seeing it. Voltamade or Thiago? Who can I go for? Thiago. That's who I would go for, Sky. If Foden doesn't start, what is your plan? And also, what's the plan with Tavernier? Tavernier is going to probably sit because he's quite cheap until I have a transfer to spend on him. He's not a massive potential. But if Foden doesn't start, it's probably Bruno in, I think. I think that probably makes the most sense. No, I mean Tavernier. Okay, so let me just say, can also go for... Okay, or upgrade. Okay, Tavernier to Dewsbury Hall. Okay, that makes sense. The only thing is that Dewsbury Hall's just come back from injury. He's in training, but I don't know what his minutes are going to look like. Look, if he plays a full 90 or plays a majority of minutes this week, it's okay because Everton don't play Champions League football. So he should be okay through training this upcoming week, and then I might look at him. But it just depends on when I have a free transfer to spend. That's basically that. But with 32 pass, let me just quickly go over the clean sheet odds here. As always, these are from Rob T FPL. Don't worry, you'll see his @ on the top left shortly. There you guys can go. So basically, I always like to go over these for those benching decisions. Might be who to bench between two defenders. That could also happen. So I always like to go over these odds and just kind of get a good perspective of what the moves are looking like. The biggest thing for me was actually, should I get in someone like a Mukiele or an Alderete from Sunderland for Michael Keane this week? But I know their chance of a clean sheet has increased to 28%, but Fulham aren't super behind. They're still on 24%, so I could just play Anderson and absorb an extra week of information, and then we can kind of see what happens. So that's what I'm currently looking at. So you guys can let me know what your thoughts have in terms of the changes. I think Man City have dropped a bit in terms of goals to 2.53. That just might mean that they're in bad form. It might mean that there's some news about the starting 11, that sort of thing. But still some pretty good matchups this week. Liverpool have a good matchup. Arsenal have a good matchup. We have Newcastle also looking pretty okay against Aston Villa. Chelsea, that game might be slightly boring. Definitely do have our more boring games. West Ham, Sunderland might be absolutely dire. Both teams might keep a clean sheet in that one. Burnley, Spurs. Spurs also, let's see how they rebound. Good Champions League result. Everton, Leeds, another boring one. So someone was asking about like if they should be starting a road on that sort of thing. The clean sheet odds also looking pretty good from them. So yeah, I'll pause on here for now, and you guys can kind of take a look at this. If there are any questions that come through, I'll try and help you guys out by answering with what you see on screen. But I'm hoping for a good game week. I mean, the fixtures definitely aren't the worst fixtures in the world. So let's see what sort of happens. While you guys get your questions in, I'm just going to go check Twitter once again to see if we have gotten anything. Yeah, that's actually a good thing. Get your vice captains in order, because if Haaland doesn't start, who knows? I'm not saying that he will be dropped, but let's just see. Okay, I don't see any early team sheet news. As mentioned, probably the week we don't get it, if I'm honest with you. I don't see how that sort of does occur when they're playing so late. Start Thiaw or Mukiele? Great question for this. Okay, so let's go over. So Newcastle and Sunderland both have 28%. That is quite high. So not quite high, but it's decent. Okay, so now we're going to go super big brain. As you guys can see, West Ham have 1.28 projected goals, but Aston Villa have 1.29, so 0.01 difference. Therefore, the edge is on Sunderland's side, so start Mukiele instead of Thiel. Honestly, though, that's a 50-50. I can go and check projected points for you, but I don't even know if that's going to help. Yeah, so they're both on the same projected points, so it's very close between them. Zhang has become a new member. Do appreciate it. Zhang from Canada. Let me know. As I said, I'm interested to see what time it is there. You might be a super fan watching me in the early hours of the morning. So thanks, Zhang. Do appreciate you becoming a member. How many free transfers can we stack? 5? Yes, it's max 5 free transfers. Start Elneny or Anderson. I would start Elneny just in case he starts. That's the new Man City centre back, the young lad, I think. Sup, Will, what's the plan today? To roll the transfer, hopefully. Jag, same question. Yeah, probably roll. Foden not starting. Okay, but is that confirmed or is that just a speculation? I will update you guys if I do see anything on Twitter, as mentioned, or you can just go and check my team. Or just update me, sorry. Brothers, check the team and we've got 2 red flags. What's the plan? Sadesh is just to bench those red flags and just pray that everyone starts. That's basically what I'm doing this week. Cammy, nice to see you again, brother, saying Van Dijk or Hall. Best of the luck this game week. I think I'd go for Van Dijk. I know that they haven't been great, but let's see. Not my first live stream either. It's 2:30 in the morning, Zhang. Absolute trooper. You deserve the star next to your name, brother. Start Mukiele, Van Hecker, or Virgil. I'd start Virgil. I think Virgil offers threat of set pieces. I know I might be biased, Michael, but I still feel like there's potential in Virgil. I don't know, but you do have great options. I think I would start. It would be Virgil, Mukiele, Van Hecker in order. So if you do want to start Mukiele instead, then that's okay. But I still feel like Virgil could do the goods. Play Cash or Alderete. I'd play Alderete. What are you drinking, mate? Hope you not miss. No, Collins. I've got the chocolate milk, and then I've got the Dew, the Mountain Dew. So yeah, if you're new to the stream, then chocolate milk's kind of our thing. It's been a good luck charm on the channel for the past few seasons. This season, definitely not a good luck charm. It's been a crap season, but it's been okay. It's gotten us a few green arrows here and there, but yeah, let's just hope that maybe we have to change to strawberry milk or something like that. Adam saying, how's it ever start one of Dorgu, Van Hecker, or Miley? It probably would be Van Hecker out of those options. Miley might not start. Dorgu as Arsenal, so probably Van Hecker. Is benching Haaland too risky? I'll read, if you have him, you play him, unless we get early team sheet news. I understand maybe not captaining him, but benching him is a bit extreme, because there's a chance that he still plays, you know. Voltemade or Rice, who to start? Let me go over and just check projected lineups for you quick, because there's been a few questions about Voltemade. So let me just see what Newcastle fans are saying about the man up front. Okay, so first projected lineup I'm seeing doesn't have him. Let me see what the consensus has. Just give me a second here, guys. Okay, for Newcastle, yeah, Visa's 75%, so I probably would say Visa plays. And then if you do have Dorgu, he has an 84% of people said he's going to start, so not the worst projections I've seen. But yeah, so if you have Voltemade, it looks like he might be benched. It seems like that's what... It seems like that's what the mates are. The Newcastle lads are projecting. Top 100k finish AMR probably, but I think it's going to be tough to finish that. It's banana chocolate. Hopefully not. I'm not the biggest fan of banana. Is benching Haaland too risky? Yeah, so sorry, going back to that question. Still high chance of starting according to Man City fans, but guess there's always a chance, but I don't think I'd bench him. Is Foden to Palmer a good move? Palmer captain. It's okay. Crystal Palace isn't the easiest fixture though, Fanta. I can understand if you wanted to go like Saka captain, maybe that makes more sense. Raya or Dubravka? Raya. Just look at the projections here. This is what I was saying in the team selection. Arsenal have 38%, Burnley have 23%. It's not close for me. It's definitely Raya as a start. Bruno G, play bench or transfer out. I'd play him. I'd only bench him if you have a strong replacement. Minte or Dorgu? Minte, so the Brighton manager said Minte can't play 90 minutes. So does that mean he starts to get subbed? I mean, he was getting subbed early anyways when he was fit. So it could mean that he starts and gets subbed, but I think I would probably chance it and go for Minte. I mean, you've held him for so long, Lion, you might as well just play him. Would you get Semenyo or Rodgers for long term? Rodgers, click. I like Semenyo. I do like him, but any Man City midfield at the moment has risk involved. Is that risk worth it? It could be. Let's say Semenyo gets benched one game, but in the next game he scores 2 goals. That's an average of a goal a game. So, things can start adding up. Will saying, with Tavernier injured, is Gordon a doubt? I don't think Gordon's a doubt. Yeah, I don't think Gordon's a doubt. Just let me know, Will, if I'm correct in saying that. And only Anderson able to come off the bench with Keane still banned and Gay as a bench warmer. What would you suggest? Tavernier out? Okay, so if you have Anderson as bench coverage, that's enough for me. I think that's okay. But as I've said, with the previous question. Oh, so, okay, Gimaraj a doubt. Okay, so Will, just let me know, is Tavernier in your starting 11? Because if Tavernier's not... Okay, no, but Gay's going to start. Well, so I think Pep said yesterday that Gay is going to make his debut. So Gay, definitely start Gay. He's going to play. Or you're talking about Gay, like Mark Gay, the Chelsea forward. Sorry, Will, I'm dissecting your question quite a bit, but I just want to make sure that it's correct. So basically what I'm saying, Will, is if you have Anderson on your bench, that's enough coverage. That's one player. I mean, that's the likelihood of all your starting 11, more than 2 not featuring is probably pretty slim. Palmer Campsey, a good shout, or stick with Haaland. I mean, it's Wolves at home. I think the only reason is there's the slight doubt that Haaland might be benched. But I feel like if he starts, it's Wolves at home. It's a great fixture. Okay, Will. Okay. So now it makes a bit more sense. Okay, so just confirm with me your bench, and then I'll understand what you're saying. Because if like Tavernier's on your bench, then it's okay. But if Tavernier's in your starting 11, put him on the bench because he's not playing. Rather put Anderson on because it's like my team. If you can see my team, Tavernier's on the bench because he's not okay. You can't see my team, but you can see Tavernier there on the bench. So that just gives me a bit of insight into what's sort of happening. This live stream has absolutely flown by. I just see we've got about 15 minutes to go. Okay. So from my understanding, there's been nothing on Twitter. Okay, City down. So the projections I just showed you. So they were on 2.8 in terms of the team selection. Then in the screenshot I just showed you, they're on 2.5. And now they've dropped to 2.36. So, yeah, the odds are definitely not liking that Man City game. Okay, so I mean, I don't really know what that means, but yeah. Harry, any moves? None at the moment. Just join. What's the plan, Kevin? It's going to be to roll the transfer. I know it might look absolutely insane because of the bench, but I think the information we're going to gauge next week is going to be valuable. However, saying that, if Foden's benched and we get news about that, then it's Foden to Bruno probably now. Transfers next week. Wirtz for Bruno. Okay, that's cool. Just keep old Wirtz though. He's hitting his flow. Did you get it? None has been a legend for 40 months. What's your plan, Davey? The plan is to roll at the moment. Hanan, thank you for 40 months, so it's absolutely insane. Over 3 years of Legend membership. Like, just put that in perspective. That's like 3.5 seasons. Absolutely insane. Do appreciate you, and thank you for the continued support. Vice Captain Semenyo Ekatike. I'd probably go Semenyo. Timber O'Reilly or Kukurea? Timber. Okay, so Will, you've come back with a rephrased question. Let's see if I can handle it. Tavernier, Keane, and Mark Gay are my bench. If I start Anderson, the only doubt on my team is Bruno G. So basically, 0 sub options with bringing anyone in or hoping Bruno plays. Okay, let me think here. How much is Bruno G? Okay, but no, you probably want to keep Bruno G if there's a double. Yeah, this is a tough one. Is Bruno G available? So, from my understanding, you can never trust Eddie Howe. But he did say that there's a chance that he plays. So he's a doubt, but they're going to try everything to get him fit. But Eddie Howe, you can never trust them. Well, if you're more comfortable, I don't know if I would take... Okay, actually, I'd probably just do Tavernier to Anderson then, you know, the guy from Nottingham Forest. Or you can do Keane to like a Mukiele Alderete if you want to be safe. I think I might just risk it and see what happens. But just look at your future plans. And if you were going to take Tavernier out anyways or Michael Keane out anyways in the future, like next week, that sort of thing, then you can just bring that move forward. It just depends on how much money it's blocking and that sort of thing. So unfortunately, you might just have to look in the future. But I would say that, yeah, you could just roll with it and see what happens. Maybe Mark Gay scores and then we both get him off the bench. Oh, Amar, you're asking, okay, Verts for Bruno makes sense. Yeah, I think Bruno is one of the better options, best options in FPL. So I'd prefer him. Start Anderson or Minte. I'd probably just go Anderson. I mean, Minte might not even start, but yeah. Yeah, Bruno did get an ankle injury, but as far as I know, let me just see. If I search Bruno G. Okay, let me see if I search Bruno. Okay, we hope it's not serious. Still unknown, he was reasonably part of the game. He's a guy that will never... Yeah, I don't know. It's not super positive. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look super positive. Yeah, so if you have Bruno G, I probably would try and get some coverage. So, I would probably do either Mukiele for Keane or Tavernier to Anderson. That's probably the two safe moves. Currently 0.1 short for Bruno. The best Foden replacement is definitely Bruno. But, I mean, is there no way that you can get that 0.1 somewhere? Or what you can do is you can just hold it, and then next week you can do two transfers. Jacobus is, so can you just, Enzo this week. I don't think I'd go for Soboslai. I think I'd go for Enzo. And yeah, that looks good. I think the Cunha to Enzo move's fine. Yeah, I'd play Thiago. You can, DCL. I'd probably play DCL though. And play Soboslai and bench a forward. No, just bench Cunha. I think I'd just bench Cunha and I'd play DCL this week. That's what I would do, Jacobus. Just join any team news. Nothing at the moment. Okay, wait. Haaland and Foden are not starting. Wait, what? Okay, madness. Okay, so it looks like we've just got team news that Haaland and Foden are not starting. Okay. I think that's what I see. Just correct me if I'm wrong, you guys. On Twitter, people are saying that Haaland and Foden are not starting. Okay, then I might be in trouble because I don't own a good Campsy option. Is that reliable? I think it's as reliable as we'll get. But yeah, I don't know. So they're starting, says Andrew. I mean, is that the... It says lazy FPL here, though. No, it's like the legit... It's the legit one. Okay, that's crazy now, because now I don't know who to captain. I just want to post on. Okay, so does that mean we do Foden to Bruno? Because I don't have a great captaincy option. Who do I captain then? Because I guess the best option would have been... Let me just think about what to do here. Yeah, who's the best Campsy option then? Yeah, it probably would have been Thiago, it probably would have been Saka, but I don't own any of those assets, so it's a bit rough. I might just have to go Ekatike. Okay, so I... Damn, who do I... Okay, but then do we bench Haaland? I mean, yeah, probably. So then it's Foden to Bruno. And then what, Tavernier to Ndai? Or was that a bit sideways? Sorry guys, this has been absolutely crazy, so I'm just going to try and sort my team out. Guess we could go for Dango. But their fixtures aren't that great. Yeah, so if you have a Semenyo, he should be pretty good. Who's playing up front? It's going to be a Mamush, probably. Herman, I don't know. I mean, the season's been crazy, so... Yeah, maybe we go and die. It's a -4 though, and then who am I even gonna captain? Captain Ekatike? Yeah, I think I'm gonna do this. What do you guys think about these moves? Just let me know. Anderson or Gordon to bench? Probably Anderson. Captain Gabriel. Keen to Lacroix. Is it okay? It's fine. Who's out for Bruno? It'll be Foden. Slim, don't triple captain this week, brother. It's not a good week. Don't want 15. Someone said, is it too bad to bench Foden? And I was like, yeah. I could go Semenyo though. I think that's too much though. How much is Semenyo? No, Semenyo is way expensive. Okay, I think this is probably what I'm gonna do. Would I bench Haaland then? Probably, eh? That just looks crazy. And then I'm going to captain Ekatike. Vice captain Rice. That looks crazy benching Haaland. Okay, that's the team. I'm just going to post this to Discord quick. Yeah, so I guess we're captaining Ekatike. It is what it is. The team was a bit up in the air. Do we bench Haaland? So the thing for me that I'm going to say is like, if Haaland's benched, if it's a rest, then he doesn't come off. But if it's a drop, then maybe he comes off. I don't know. Now, should we bench Anderson? Yeah, I mean, it's quite crazy starting Anderson. Yeah, I posted the final team wrong. Seditious F-Dog, I don't know about this one. Yeah, it's very much hoping that yeah, it's quite hectic to bench Haaland. I could have done Ekatike to Thiago, I guess. Oh, it's time up anyways. Damn, okay. That live stream. What did I say? I said this is going to be a boring live stream, and look what happened. So this is the team. This team looks insane. With a -4, with a -4, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know if these are even going to pay off. I mean, Ndai has to go score like a Hattie. Ekatika has to become insane. I don't know. Let's see what happens. I guess it is what it is. The time's done anyways, so. Yeah, so I do apologize for that little bit of madness on my end at the end. I didn't get to answer as many questions as you guys probably wanted. But, yeah, I don't know. I think this game makes me a bit rough. We're starting off on a -4, which is never good at 1.7 million or whatever we are. Yeah, and we have Haaland on our bench, so let's see what happens. I mean, imagine if the news is fake. Imagine if the team leak's fake. Imagine what Pep was talking about when he said he knows the reason why they have not been winning is because there's been a leak in the team and he wants to sort that out. So this is what he's done. He's kind of put through fake news that Foden and Haaland are benched to see what happens. But I don't know. Full conspiracy theory. But yeah, let's see. I mean, Haaland could play, I guess, but I don't know. Maybe it just makes sense for him to get a complete rest, but I don't know. If Haaland does end up scoring, then we are in the gutter. So guys, I'm going to end you on that good note. Thank you for joining the live stream. As mentioned, I apologize, it was a bit all over the place, but thank you for the support, and I'll see you guys for Game Week 24, and we'll see if Game Week 23 is an absolute disaster. But thanks for joining. Enjoy the weekend. Let's hope Game Week 23 is an absolute banger, and for the time being, I'm signing off. It's Navy FPL, and I'm out. Cheers. Bye.